What the Business YouTube, episode 27. My name's Jay Florida, and today's career of discussion is a locksmith. So, what is a locksmith? A locksmith is a person who specializes in the installation, repair, and maintenance of locks and security systems. Now, to give you a piece of history, locksmiths have existed for over 4,000 years, with the oldest known device dating back to 704 BC in Cordoba. The Romans shifted from using wooden to metal locks, and by the 14th century, locksmithing became a respected, skilled trade in Europe. This era introduced complex internal mechanisms. A few basic requirements to becoming a locksmith include obtaining a GED or diploma, enrolling in a locksmith training program at a vocational school or community college, obtaining a state license if required, completing a background check as well as an apprenticeship under a licensed professional. All of this can take you anywhere from 6 months to 4 years and cost you anywhere from $400 to $4,000 when considering training, tools, and licensing. As far as your range as an entry-level locksmith, you can expect to make $45,000 to $55,000, with a few things affecting how much you take home being if you offer emergency or 24/7 services. Your industries, such as public sector or institutional. Specializations such as automotive programming or vault work, and location. A day in life as a locksmith can be described as troubleshooting, problem solving, irregular hours, high stakes situations, and physically demanding. As far as opportunity, anybody can become a locksmith if they choose to do so without any particular barriers being in the way, and for that reason, the locksmith does score green. As far as examples for this episode, we are actually short a list since this is not a career that dubs fame or notoriety. But if you're wanting more information on what it's like to be a locksmith or how to become a locksmith, you can have that conversation with your local locksmith next time you lock yourself out of your car. Now, moving on to our fact moment segment of this episode, starting off with fact number 1. The heaviest vault is the gold vault at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, which supports over 6,331 metric tons of gold, 80 feet below street level. Fact number 2. The first video game generally recognized to feature a form of lockpicking is Morton's Fork, a text adventure RPG released in 1980, where players use a hairpin to open a specific lock. And fact number 3. Approximately 4 million people in the United States lock their key in their car annually. This frequent stressful event occurs more than 16,000 times daily. Now, moving on to our last segment. Before the circle of influence, we have health risks and mitigation, starting off with repetitive strain injury and musculoskeletal disorders due to repetitive close quarters work with small tools and keys. Respiratory hazards as a result of inhaling metal fumes and dust during welding, cutting, or drilling. And skin conditions such as contact dermatitis as a result of frequent handling of brass and nickel-plated objects combined with exposure to lubricants, cleaning agents, and solvents. As far as mitigation, you can wear appropriate masks to prevent inhaling dusts and fumes. Use protective gloves to reduce direct skin contact with lubricants, solvents, and metals. And ensure good ventilation in workspaces to minimize the concentration of airborne particles. Now, that does it for our primary segment. I'm going to go ahead and give the floor to my co-host. Let him do for the circle of influence. Hey, if I ever ask you how we're hanging, you say 10 like a surfer, all right? Starting off the circle of influence, we have respect. Is this a career or a position that brings me respect and dignity? Now, for this segment, the locksmith does score green. Whether it be locking yourself out of your car, locking yourself out of your home, or retrieving an item from a vault that you no longer have the combination to. As a locksmith, you're the one that shows up and saves the day. Moving on, we have growth. Is this a career or position that presents me with the opportunity to grow from a $100,000 earning threshold? For this segment, the locksmith scores yellow, with sources online citing that the locksmith has the potential to make anywhere from $150,000 to $250,000 or more in a single year. Moving on, we have gore. Is this a career or position that will have me dealing with an abundance of blood, violent action, grotesque imagery, or scenery? And for this segment, the locksmith does score green, as in no, you will not be dealing with any of the mentioned before. Moving on to our last ideological standpoint, we have moral conflict. Is this a career or position that will have me compromise any of my foreseeable morals? Don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, don't kill. The basic set of guidelines. And for this segment, the locksmith also scores green. Moving on to the statistical side of things, we have gender demographics, where men make up 90% of the industry and women make up 10% of the industry. Next, we have ethnic demographics, where Caucasians make up 71% of the industry, Hispanics make up 17% of the industry, and African Americans make up 4% of the industry. For our last standpoint, we have location demographics, top paying states in no particular order, starting off with New York, followed by Nevada, then Illinois, Massachusetts, and closing things off with Michigan. Now that does it for the circle of influence. So I'm gonna go ahead and give the floor back to Florida. I'm back. Just to put the locksmith into summary, it's a fine, respectable career option that you could definitely make a good living off of. Though, depending on what types of services you offer, you could be laying in the bed at 1 o'clock in the morning and it's time to spring into action. I also want to add that when looking at the investment side of things, it doesn't require so much, especially when compared to other career options. With that being said, it does look like we have a full episode today, and if you're in the Evansville, Indiana area, make sure to give Dynamite Locksmith Services LLC a look. Now, the word of the day is Turbulent. And the self-help resources on the board, as always, I'll leave it down in the description to show your support. If you want to see this kind of content more often, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on episode 28.